Protecting foster children. The cry after recent deaths bring a call to action.
Child Protective Services is making some major changes after the death of an 11-month-old girl in foster care.
Cedar Park police say this man, Jacob Salas, crushed Orien Hamilton's head with his knee. The placement agency said Salas was never vetted as a caregiver for Hamilton. CPS says it looked into the background of Hamilton's caregiver and even visited the home. But the foster mother lied about Salas living there. Now CPS plans to make more unannounced visits to foster care homes with very young children. It also calls for a review of regular and frequent visitors, and starting next year for the state to produce quarterly trend reports on child deaths from abuse and neglect. KXAN's Kevin Schwaller talked to a father whose daughter also died in foster care this year. He says those changes don't go far enough.
Actually would have turned 3 November 7th.
Alexandria Hill didn't reach that birthday.
She loved reading, she loved playing.
Alexandria died in foster care. The foster parent was charged with capital murder. We sat down with Joshua Hill, Alexandria's dad, outside his lawyer's office.
They're fit to raise a child, and that's where my daughter died. But I was unfit. I think that it was completely wrong of them to go to the extreme that they did.
Hill says he smoked pot in the home. That's why he wasn't allowed to have his daughter. Hill looked at the new state plan. He believes there needs to be larger, systematic changes in the system, training, and the process. He doesn't believe anything in this report would have saved his daughter.
It looks like a Band-Aid.
Chadwick Sapenter spent time in foster care in Texas. Now he's a foster care advocate. He heard about the little girl who died in Cedar Park.
To be honest, man, it was heartbreaking.
He says the new plan is one step, but the foster care system is underfunded and it needs more help.
Unless we get more families who step up and say, you know what, I want to become a foster parent, or I want to adopt, or if we can get churches or community groups to actually engage within their communities before a child is ever placed into the system, then we're going to keep having these problems.
Trying to deal with not having my little girl.
Joshua Hill's lawyer, Bobby Taylor, says he'd like to see the state take a harder stance with child placement groups. Now, this new report says 90% of children are placed with private providers, and the state will be looking at that relationship and regulation. Taylor thinks if those groups were hit with big fines for issues, we may see some more accountability. Kevin Schwaller, KXAN News.
We thought you should know the report also reveals more children are dying while in Texas foster care. It shows 2 children died from abuse and neglect in the 2012 fiscal year while in foster care. 8 children died in the 2013 year. Now, the 2014 fiscal year started in September. In just these past few weeks, 5 children have died in foster care. However, those cases are too new to say whether they were all from abuse.